Ay, 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 boy, I'll tell you what, the last minute of getting this show together is always chaos. I don't know why that is. Taylor, you back yet?
I'm here.
There she is. I knew you were there. Got to clean the window. I couldn't see you. Great to have you back. We missed you last week. I saw you peeking in from whatever cruise you were on or country you were in. I don't know.
I was in
But
Costa Rica. I'm here now.
yeah, Costa Rica, did you bring home some rum for us?
I brought him some coffee.
Okay, hey, I drink a hell of a lot more coffee than I do rum. Those days are way behind me. Welcome, everybody. I'm John Zidar. This is my host, Taylor. We are here for you. We are here because of Penny Boys. That's my Discord group. This is a group, well, like a lot of trading groups, trades. They trade everything from OTC and penny stocks all the way up to the blue chips. They bet on sports. They trade cryptos, tokens. They do it all. And we've got divisions, so we've got professionals in every single sector. So if you like to trade any of that, I invite you in. It's free. We do have some paid for education, but you pick and choose as you want. You know, try before you buy. Talk to us, chat with our members, see what's going on. So we do this every Thursday. I have a live streaming event and we look at stocks that you guys bring to us. And it's nice to see that you guys actually bring me stocks that I've covered already. I'm not going to skip you. I know you thought that was what was coming. I'm not skipping you. You're interested in them. I brought them out because I think they're worthy of watching. So I'm glad to see you're watching them. So let's see what comments we got here. Boy, we had some early birds come in. You guys filled my roster. I think by 2:00, I had already had 7 stocks lined up. Did the research. And here's the pet peeve. When I use this one browser, it allows me to highlight the information, as you see most of the time. Well, off and on, it decides to just eliminate it. So hopefully all the research I've done is still highlighted. I've had to highlight it once or twice already, again, because we put this out there so early. So if it is gone, hopefully I remember exactly what it was I was looking at, because I don't want to waste your time. So we got the early birds here as usual. Kashira, Emer, we did get your JYD this week. We skipped it last week, not only in the live show, but the follow-up I did on Saturday. So we're going to take a look at it. That was one of them I covered last week, I think. Big money grips. Worried about getting BNOX covered. You were first in line, dude, and it's first come, first served around here. So you locked that position up. And then the very last comment that had me going a little wild on the last 60 seconds, Mark Ryan wanted to know if I had MOTS covered. MOTS is another stock I just covered yesterday, I think, as a matter of fact. And I do have it lined up. But as I was going back through these comments, Mark's comment disappeared. So I don't know what happened to your comment. It does happen occasionally. They just disappear. But I saw it and I got it in there. So we are covered. Bad news, Valmore. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to you with fun. I just saw that news. I just posted it on Twitter that they made a deal, an acquisition of another company selling their products over in Southeast Asia. So that's looking good. So let's start with what I do have lined up here. We've got 7 from the request here on the show. And just before the queue got clogged, I got a request from T. Rick. He wants me to look at UCAR, another stock I covered. I think I cover a lot of stocks just on Twitter. So let's jump on over now to what we do have lined up. Sorry. You good? Yes, you are. You're good. All right. So I'm going to count on my backup now, Taylor, to cover the buttons for me. We are going to take a look at BNOX. This came in from, let me get up there. Who is this? Somebody grip. Big Money Grips brought us Bionomics, ticker BNOX. This is a penny stock on the major exchange, the NASDAQ, so you don't have to pay for any transactions. You get the availability to trade at pre-market, aftermarket. You don't have to have special qualifications. Just remember to change the time period of your order. It's not a day trade, and it's an extended period. And I don't know how your broker lists it. It may be aftermarket. It may be extended periods. Whatever it is, you got to have it in there or you can't trade. And of course, on the major exchange, you're getting a heck of a lot more volume and a heck of a lot more money is up there. Not to mention there's a lot more oversight There's not as much BS with companies on the major exchanges. So BNOX finished today at a $1.15, dropped 8%. So what is this company about? They tell us that they are a clinical stage biotechnology company developing novel first-in-class drugs to treat patients suffering from serious central nervous system disorders and also others with high unmet medical needs. They tell us that they have a strategic partnership with a huge biotech company, pharmacy, Merrick and Company, and they have 2 drugs in early stage clinical trials for the treatment of cognitive deficits in Alzheimer's disease and other central nervous system conditions. Early stage clinical trials is good. They're on their way, but early means probably stage 1, maybe stage 2. Stage 1 is about a year. That's just to see if it's safe, see if it kills you or get some serious side effects. Stage 2 is how well is your drug doing what you say it does, just all by itself. We'll test it against the disease. And then stage 3 and stage 2 can take 3 years, 2 to 3 years. And then stage 3 is pitting your drug up against all your competitors. And that can take up to 5 years if there's a lot of competitors. Add up all that time, you're looking at 8 years. 8 years on average to get a drug approved. So early clinical stage means you better be in it for the long run. So let's see what we've got on this company. We'll look at what I found first and then back up. All right, that goes hand in hand with something else we're going to look at. So let's take a look at the relative volume for the company. She had a little bit of increase. She's doing roughly 250,000 shares a day. That's roughly what she did today. Share structure for the company. Well, that's not bad. If we can count on these numbers, we have a low float, whatever it is, because our outstanding share count is 8.2 million. And your float is never higher than the outstanding share count. So we've got a decent float. Market cap for the company. What do you mean it's unavailable? All you do is take the outstanding share count and multiply it times the price. So that would put you at about 8.5, 8.8 million for the market cap. Let's see what else we've got going on here. Financials. Yeah, they're pulling in revenues, but they're losing a lot of money doing it. For God's sake, we got to add 3 zeros to these numbers. So they did $14,000 worth of business in 3 months. That was at the end of June, and it cost them $131,000 to make $14,000. Better tweak that formula. Won't be in business long. Quarterlies on the company, we got nothing here, but that's par for the course for NASDAQ. Balance sheet. They got money in the banks. They got about 12 million. Assets, about 29 million. Ooh, liabilities are way down there. Only 4 million. So we do have positive stockholder equity in this company. We're not holding the bag. We got 22 million. All right. What was it I wanted to share? Right. We were looking at that share structure, weren't we? Right. This is what they said. I do want to back up here because this was awfully low, and I don't remember exactly why I was looking, but this is what I discovered. That's not the right share count. That's what I meant by if these numbers are accurate. You really got to check on them. Now, what date did they give us for that? That was, well, we're looking at 10 months ago. That was June of 2023. They tell us over here there was 1.4 billion shares in the float, or at least outstanding. I don't know how many the insiders own, but there's 1.4 billion total. And our float could be anywhere up to 1.4 billion. It could be considerably less, but normally when you have billions of shares, it's not under a billion at any time. So that be the case here. We've got a lot of shares, and that's going to change the market cap considerably. What would that put the market cap at? Oh, come on. All right, that's blowing my mind right now. I am going to bypass this. We're going to go over to those financials. We just looked at those, right? We did. All right, disclosures for the company. Right, we've got some 13Gs here. These all have A's on the end, which means it's amended. And it could be the exact same one from here. From October, they had to amend it and amend it and amend it. Now, I looked at these two, and they're zeros. SC13Gs are filed whenever there's a new owner. When somebody comes on board and invests enough money to buy enough shares to actually own a percentage of the company. Sometimes it's a big name, sometimes it's just a hedge fund, an investor. Well, these two here, they're both zeros. I don't understand why they're zeros. I bypass them. These two here, I do believe one was for 9% and one was for about 5%. So we do have new owners coming in. Outside of that, I didn't see anything real interesting here. Checking that news. Did I have anything over here? Seeking Alpha, Globe News, 20 plans. Probably would want to look into this one. Provides a review of 2023 and 2024 plans. And honestly, I didn't have a chance to dive into this one, but this is going to tell you what's happened and what they have plans on doing. 2023 highlights, telling you about their drugs, positive top line results, phase 2. Well, that's good to know. We're in phase 2, so it's already been proven safe. There's a lot of companies that get through early drug trials and then they just can't afford to continue on. The trials aren't cheap. They can be $1 million a month for these trials. And they'll just abandon them, hoping that somebody else is interested in them and will come and buy them out. So that can happen. We heard that nose. Gotcha, even without the camera on.
I'm here.
Yeah, we know that. We knows that. So we do have information here you'd probably want to dive into. Outside of that, I don't see a whole lot going on, but there could be a lot of information here. But again, as I said, with these R&D companies, there's a lot of research and development. It takes a long time. Now, I am surprised to see that they have any revenues on the books, because revenues means you're selling something. I don't know what they've got. So some more research would be necessary. It costs them a lot of money, whatever it is. They better start charging more for it. That's all I can say. All right, Taylor, we're going to jump back to you now. Ticker BNOX. The chart, please.
Okay, here's the chart for this. Oh, wait, did we put... there we go. Put the comment up there. So this is the daily chart. Now, one thing I noticed is this thing moved really a lot on earnings, and we have one coming up. It says it's today, but I've been refreshing it. I don't know if there was something after hours or what. So it's coming up soon. So there should be, this is a catalyst. So this should move on earnings. Whenever this comes out, this is going to move. I don't know which way, but this is a catalyst, because look what happened the last time we had earnings. All right.
Yeah. What sort of jump was that?
Well, so it gapped up. Yeah, it gapped way up and then closed lower. But as you can see, there's a gap between, $1 and 286, and it went ahead and filled that gap completely.
Right.
So if we zoom into where we are now, okay, this is the 4-hour chart, and you can see a little bit better what's going on. Okay.
We got a breakout set up.
Yeah, this broke out, and now we're kind of in this. It was almost like a bull flag, but it did come back down. So it's like it reached the 200 and then came right back down, as you can see right here, the purple line.
And it looks very even, like it pushed way high and then shot back down the opposite direction, the same distance like a pendulum would do. And to me, I look for those even money bounces, because normally you get a ricochet off of those. It's already done its big extreme. Now it goes back. It shows there's activity. It shows there's life in the stock.
Yeah, it's easier to see with the Heikenashis too. So I turned those on. You can see that it.
That's all I live on is the Heikinashi.
Yeah, I know, but I was looking at the daily chart so I could see the gaps. So there's that. So let's drop down to the 1 hour. As you can see, we came back down to this little area here.
Yeah.
And all of these, we have crosses. These are death crosses is what I call them.
Right.
So, it does look bearish to me in the short term.
It does.
Long term, though, we did have that breakout, and we haven't come back down to its baseline, which it had come all the way back down to fill that gap, which was under $1, by the way. But now we're still at like 115.
If you look at, say, your 15 or your 30-minute, is the price sitting on an SMA? Oh, look at that.
Yes, exactly.
She's not hanging in the air there, looking like she's going to fall another 20
exactly.
cents.
That was the 1 hour. This is the 15. So
that looks sweet. Now I feel better.
Yeah. So now it's kind of like we have a little support now.
Yeah.
So that could be good.
It's definitely been going sideways. from the first dip to the second dip. So it's not like she's showing tendency to fall. It looks like she's stopping the fall so that she can go back to whatever it was she's planning on doing.
It does look like support here, but remember this kind of looks like a bear flag if you look at this part. So, but that's on the 15 minutes, so that could still go either way. So, got to keep an eye on this one for sure.
That's right. It could go either way, so it's definitely worth watching. But she's looking like she's at that point. Who brought this to us? Oh, it was Big Money Grips. Good eye there, Big Money Grips. She's at a point of consideration. If you're thinking about buying, wait for that confirmation. Maybe break that 20-day on the 30-minute, get a few green bars going up. That may be it, because that was a big drop today after going sideways for 4 days.
Oh, yeah, like a week pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, solid climb and then a real big cool down. And then she fell back to her 200. And in my book, that's an 8 out of 10 probability it's going to bounce.
It definitely bounce off of this.
Yeah. So I'm confident there's a better chance of her bouncing than falling. Just my opinion.
Okay.
Yes, I'm ready. All right, we have a hot stock to talk about here. Kashira bringing it back up. Kashira, I'm glad you brought this back up because I haven't looked at Nate's Food in a while here. Seems to me we had a lot of news about cancellation of shares, showing us a lot of shareholder concern by the management. We're talking billions of shares were being canceled. This is ticker NHMD. Nate's Food finished today at a real low price. It's lower now than it was when I first looked at it today. She's at 0007. She fell about 12.5% today. She's on the pink tier, the bottom tier, the ghetto of the OTC. You take everything with a grain of salt down here, folks. I'm not kidding. Take everything with a grain of salt. I've lost over $50,000 in the last 2 years dealing with pinks. You can't trust most of what you hear, so be cautious. We got one piece of validated information here, transfer agent verified. That's crucial. We don't have the other one, verified profile. We would like to get it. Verified information is precious on the pink tier. So we got that missing here. But we got a lot of catalyst going on with this company. This is not what they're doing. They do not make pancake and waffle batter and sell it. Maybe they did at one time. I can't believe that was big business. So what are they doing now? You ready for this? All right. I'm going to save the best for last. As I said, the company has been canceling billions of shares. August, I know it's a while back, but you need to see it. August 7th, they canceled 1 billion shares. September, the company did a reverse merger and a change of control with JP Energy, which is probably what's ringing in your ears. Then on October, the company affirms commitment to the shareholders, no reverse split till 2025. That gives us 1 year to feel free. You don't have to worry about having the rug pulled out from underneath your feet after pouring your money into getting as many shares as you possibly can. And at this price, God dang, folks, this is a really low price. And when you see this top news, you may understand why it's exciting. The last two pieces of news we're looking at, we're not going to actually look at this one, but it headlines what the last one is. Nate's Food announces an $8 billion aviation fuel joint venture agreement. We're not talking about entering an $8 billion market. We're talking about an $8 billion contract. But it looks like they whittled it down a little bit to $5 billion. I'm still impressed. So let's take a look at this piece of news because I like what I'm reading here, and I didn't have to look at too much. The company announces that they have successfully secured a purchase order for 49 million barrels of jet fuel with an estimated value of nearly $5 billion based on current Platts pricing. The initial transaction is for 1 million barrels of jet fuel with subsequent monthly deliveries of 4 million barrels for a duration 4 million barrels a month for the next 12 months. So break this down real quick and easy. You got 1 million the first month, 4 million the second month. That's 60 days. That's 5 million barrels. That is basically 1/10 of 50 million. 5 million, 50 million. So that's 1/10 of 5 billion. That means $500 million that they'll be earning in the next 2 months. Now, when it shows up on the books, I don't know, but that's the math. Now, why is that so bloody important? Because how much are they making now? Well, at the end of May 2023, they had $25,000. Quarterlies, it says they had nothing at the end of their last quarter in November. So to go from 0 to 500 million, they said this deal is secured. It's not an if, it's not a maybe, it's not a memorandum of understanding, it's not even a letter of intent. It is a successful deal that they're already going through with, and they are going to get another 4 million barrels every single month. So you're looking at, what is that? About $400 million a month? Wow. Come on, folks. That is huge. And when the stock is at 0007, now what's the market cap for this company? Share count is really high. I'm not liking that at all, but they said no reverse split. And that's great, because I'd be really worried about that right now. And I'd be saying, oh, this sounds like great news. That's going to put a lot of assets on the books. Right now, their market cap is 2.8 million, and they're going to be making 400 to 500 million a month, right? So this has got to jump. This has got to get right, and they're not going to do a reverse split. So now I would feel very confident to buy this at this bloody cheap price and watch this grow. But again, I am going to say this, regardless of what they put in press releases, until you see the money on the books, this is a pink. Take it with a grain of salt. You get that excited, you pour your rent into it, and then something goes wrong. I don't know what. Now, this looks good. It's a deal in China. China needs stuff all the time. They've got contracts to take care of it. As a matter of fact, I didn't point that out, but in the news, they do go on down here to tell us that they're getting all the authorizations and verifications, confirmations, tank storage agreements. They've got everything lined up. They have ticked all the boxes. So it looks good to me. I will say that. But again, I've lost a lot of money on the pink, so I'm a little leery about anything I read until I actually see it on the books. So let's see what we got for relative volume around the company today. Not a lot of excitement. God, why not? That's huge news. Anybody doing the math? We dropped like 75% roughly from 218 million down to 58 million. Share structure we already looked at. Financials we looked at. Any disclosures? This 8K came out on the 12th. This is talking about the authorization, the confirmation, the validation, all that stuff I just threw at you. And another 8K here on the 29th. Working with some promissory notes and resulting in the elimination of approximately $750,000 in liabilities. More details there, but they're getting rid of liabilities. That sounds good too. So everything is actually looking hot to me, folks. The only thing I can gripe about is it's a pink. You know, I've just had my problems. If I got bit by Dobermans, I love dogs, just not Dobermans. Yeah, yours is a nice dog. It just got this thing about Dobermans. So I am liking Nate's food. I'm liking that price. I'm wondering what the chart looks like now. What does that chart look like, Taylor?
Okay, so I'm going to just kind of review what we went over before, so people that are new might want to see this. So starting about a year ago, we were in this consolidation period. It was between 0001 and 0003, and that went on for months and months and months, pretty much all last year until September. We started getting this, this uptrend. Okay, started breaking out from that, and these arrows are just the days that we looked at, and we looked at them from the end of September until the end of October of last year. So we haven't looked at this in a couple months. So after that, it went back down. You can see it came all the way back down to the top of that consolidation area, and that was at the beginning of this year, and then it broke out again. Now we're right at the 200 again. This is the daily chart.
You see what I see there? Isn't that a perfect cup and handle?
It looks like it. Yeah, I was going to say that. So we did come all the way back down right to the top of that consolidation area that was there for pretty much all last year. Then we came up. Now we're back down. So this could be, like you said, a cup and handle. That could be here.
Well, actually, I see it. Actually, I see it already happened. I can see
Yeah, well,
she came
if it
down and then,
continues, we
and
could see this.
yeah, there could be a second one, but I'm liking her bouncing off of the 200. She dipped
Right.
underneath it like a rubber ball. She came up strong like a
Mhm.
rubber ball would out of the water. You got to expect it to come back down for a bounce after a launch and then take off. So the
Mhm.
chart actually looks healthy to me from that perspective.
Mhm. So let's drop it down to the 4-hour and see if we can get any more information. So it doesn't look quite as nice on the 4-hour, but we do have this kind of flattening out. It's kind of come up from all of this. So it's kind of, it's a lagging indicator, but so from this breakout, we're still reaping the benefits of that. And we're starting to flatten this out again. So that's
Yep,
good. We haven't come all the way back down since January. So it could come back down here, or we could come back up and see this 0017
right.
and beyond. This was an important level. I'm not sure. I must have marked that off on during one of these. So we did come up here, and this was great. All the days we looked at it, it was just coming up and
Yeah,
up and up. So.
we were watching that one for sure. We were
Mhm.
catching every bounce on the way up.
Yeah, I remember the last time we looked at it, I was in New Mexico at the time, and I remember charting this. So this is the 1 hour. So this is where we are now. Uh, Not looking spectacular,
No,
but it does
no,
have
what
potential.
she is looking like everything. You can see our 200 is at the cusp, right at the top, ready to start turning down. All of your other SMAs are on top of the price, pushing it down right now. No, she doesn't look like I would expect her to come down to that strong support that you were pointing out and bounce off of that. That's kind of the way I would see it right now. She doesn't look like she's going to bounce anytime soon, though.
Yeah. So that's what we're looking at now, and I'll go ahead and mark this for today. We can keep an eye on this because this is going to get interesting. Now I remember mentioning this before. It was paying out dividends there for a while. It was a fraction of a cent. I don't know if they're still doing that, but these were being paid out for a little while. I'm not sure. This is what these mean. These little circles.
Yeah,
So it says zero, but
yeah,
it's a fraction.
for a
Hmm.
while there over in my Discord group, our Discord group, we there was this, I don't know if you want to call it a fad or a strategy, let's call it a strategy of trading stocks that pay dividends.
Hmm.
And what they were basically doing was they declare when this monthly dividend is going to come out. You got to own your shares by the 20th. So you buy all your shares on the 15th and then you sell them on the 21st. You get the dividend and you didn't have to hold the stock for any longer. So
Right.
regardless of whether the stock went up or down, you got your dividend. And you find stocks that have strong dividends and you get in just before, then you pull your money back out and you grab your dividend. And they were
Right, as
doing
long as
that.
you're holding it by the ex-dividend date, then you will get the dividend even if you do sell it, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So it's just a strategy. If you don't mind, it's like playing a slot machine. Do you leave a $5 winner in there because you didn't get the jackpot? Hell no. You take every winner. No matter how small or big it is, you take them all. And enough of them add up. And it's like, wow, I didn't realize that I got that much. Yeah, it
Yeah, it's a
adds
pretty
up.
neat strategy for sure. Oh, that's what, NHMD looks like.
Okie doke, I am ready with the next one. We've looked at this one. Actually, I've looked at this one. I did a video on it last week, I think. I remember nice pastel colors for the letters. This is JYD, Jiaoyud Global Logistics. This is a Chinese company working in China with shipping. They work with planes, ships, over the road, that sort of stuff. And of course, doing business in China, even a small business, is a huge success relative to our companies here because they're so big. JYD finished today at $1.09. She was up a smidge today, almost 3%. Penny stock on the major exchange, the NASDAQ. Now, I do remember some of the information I covered about this. I get the feeling my highlights are gone.
Oh,
Doesn't
no.
matter. I remember. All right. They had a deal here in December with an airline. This is to fly to the Philippines. They get 100 round trips. It's a trial contract to see how well it works. They're expanding their footprint over to the Philippines. They are working in a lot of other countries, not just China. And that's pretty much what this news up here was telling us. The company enters into an agreement to acquire 2 international logistic companies. Companies doing what they're doing, shipping goods. And these companies are working in Africa, Europe, the Middle East. I think it was like everywhere but Antarctica and Australia. I mean, really, they had a huge footprint now. So it really looked good to me in the fact that they had gotten these 2 companies here and they were now working with an airline. Let's see what we got for relative volume around the company. Well, was there any new news there? Did I miss anything? No, there was nothing new. Just wanted to make sure. This top piece here is from Seeking Alpha, and any news down here, some of it will be about the company, but it's news they get from online and bring in over here. Sometimes it has not got anything to do with them whatsoever. So that got nothing to do with them. See what we got here for relative volume. Geez. She dropped about 60%, going from 92,000 shares down to 35,000 shares. Share structure for JYD. I hope I didn't have to remember anything here.
Hey, John, do we have any news from December 22nd?
We'll check that out in a second here. It sounds vaguely familiar. Outstanding share count isn't bad, folks. We're down there at just under 14 million. I don't know what the float is, but it's never higher than the outstanding share count. So we're in the neighborhood, if not a low float. Market cap, we're at about 14.5 million. Financials for the company, they're growing and growing nicely. From 20 to 21, they doubled from 44 million. We got to add these 3 zeros to any of the numbers down here, to 86 million, up to 94 million at the end of 2022. But they're not bringing home much profit. God, it cost them 88 million. I guess petrol's just expensive. So they got to keep 5 million out of that 93 million. Quarterlies? Nope, not on this NASDAQ stock. We get a balance sheet though. We got 4 million in the bank, 18 million in assets, million in liabilities. So we do have some stockholder equity in this company of just under 5 million. Looking at those disclosures, okay, we got a bunch of SG13s. And for the life of me, I can't remember what any of them said. Oh, right, I remember what all of them said. Amazing how that came back to me since I just covered it. As I said, SC 13Gs, 13Ds, these are always good news. Always. These are new owners coming in, buying enough shares that they qualify for ownership. We have 2 here at the top. Top one is 30%. The one below that is 24%. That's 54% of the company. The next 4 add up to approximately 34%. You're looking at over 80% of the company was bought in 2 days, from February 5th to February 7th. That is a catalyst, folks. A lot of interest, a lot of money was poured into this company. Now, I don't think there was a change of control because these are all different owners. So nobody got more than 50%. So I don't think anything has changed here. Was there anything else down there? No. Ding, ding, ding. Did I miss anything here?
Did you see anything from December 22nd?
That's what we were looking for. I knew there was something. Thank you.
Sure.
December 22nd. Let's go back just a wee bit here.
Couple months ago,
2023. Wow. So we got no filings. They just stopped dead. I don't know if this just came on the market or what. I've never seen
it did. It's pretty new.
Oh, okay, because I've never seen the filings just stop. They just keep going and going as long as the company was here. Okay, let's see here. The 15th, the 19th, the 20th. Joe announces new air charter. That was on the 19th, and it could have easily been this news. This was that air contract they got for the 100 trial runs to the Philippines. Outside of that, we don't have anything until, oh, wait a minute. Dask Rocket Lab. It does say on the 22nd it was recognized as moving, but this isn't news. It's just Seeking Alpha. It was recognized as one of the big movers on the 22nd, which would be your cue right now. Show us how she rocketed on the 22nd.
Oh, it did not rocket. It dumped.
Oh.
So it opened at 278 and closed at about 128. So more than 50% drop in one day.
Oh, boy, that's no good.
Yeah.
That That's an
So you can see
impotent
how little
stock if ever I saw one.
yeah, I know. That's more than 50% drop in one day. That is crazy. This is the daily chart, by the way.
See,
So,
that was really good news. I mean, why would it drop? We didn't see anything bad. Now, we are just scraping across the surface. There may be something deeper somewhere that we've missed. But to have a piece of news that says we've got a trial contract for a year, we're going to have 100 flights to the Philippines, which is a whole new market for us. That just doesn't make sense. I would say, well, gee whiz, somebody got stupid here. We got a buying opportunity. But it's been days, hasn't it, that she's been down there?
oh yeah, since then, I mean, it kind of consolidated here for a bit and then dropped another quite a bit from 112 down to 85 cents, and then
30%
it's just kind of
drop
there's
there.
one little breakout here, but we're still down here.
And
So
that
this
breakout,
stock hasn't been around too long. You can see how little the 200 is.
that
I mean,
breakout right there that you pointed out, that's the only thing I like is that it
yeah.
reached for the 50. And that now that 200 came on the board, I've got this. I've noticed oftentimes when a new SMA comes on the board, the price likes to gravitate to it. It starts
Mhm.
to either dip or rip towards that new. So on the 4-hour chart or whatever chart it was you were looking at,
Yeah, that was the daily. This is the 4 hour.
so she isn't looking as sad as she looks. That was a horrible drop, but she is starting to get into position. Her
Hmm.
SMAs are looking tight.
Yeah, and these are all lined up. These three. I mean, obviously 200 is way up here, but we've got the 9, and this is the 21, this is the 50. So we're right in between the 9 and the 21. So not too bad. We'll see if we can get another breakout like that. It's trying to reach up there. Let's drop it down to the 1 hour and we'll see. Yeah, see, that's looking a lot better. If you look at the shorter term, one
Oh,
hour,
yeah.
smaller time frame. So it is showing signs of
Ooh.
life. We didn't come all the way back down here. This was the bottom of that.
I
I
see a
think.
beautiful W there, and she is
Hmm.
sitting firmly on that 200 with a
Right.
couple green bars. I would be suspect of a rip here. Honestly,
Yeah.
I would.
Mhm.
Yeah. It looks like I'm not just talking a bounce. I mean, breaking that high we had a week ago. I think she could get a nice run off of that setup.
Yeah, this was about a week ago, and it ran all the way up to 152. So we could see that again. That's a 50% increase from where we are right now.
Yeah,
That's
I'd be
big.
putting this on the watch list. Absolutely. I like that chart a lot.
I like it too. All right, that's about it for that one.
You can only drool over a chart for so long. All right. Here's one I think we've looked at a few times. Oh, my highlights have disappeared. You little da, da, da. This is Toner, ticker TONR. Toner One World Holdings. All right. I remember this, so I don't have to worry about it. We got a stock here that's just approaching my best favorite price in the world, 001. It is one of the smallest movements on the chart for 100% gain from 001 to 002 is virtually nada. I mean, you go to the penny, you can't even see that move. It's so small, and that will double your money buying at 001. When it hits 005, you have 500% increase on your money. If you wait for it to hit 003 while you're thinking about it, you got to get all the way to a penny and a half to hit 500% gains. So yeah, I get excited when I get an opportunity to buy a hot stock at 001. Toner is under that right now, 0009, and she did drop 10% today. She too is on the pinks. She is current. She's got all the validated information you normally find on a pink. She's got her verified profile and her transfer agent verified. Now, they tell us that she is a shell risk. A shell means that you're not in business doing anything. You're just an empty building waiting for a tenant to come in. And that's cool. We're waiting for an acquisition or a merger. A shell risk means that you're in business. You're doing something, but you've got no money coming in. That's never a good thing. So just taking a quick look at her financials since we're talking about it. We got nothing annually. We got nothing quarterly. Since we're here, let's take a look at that balance sheet. What? Zip. Not one asset, not a dollar in the bank, nothing. But we got liabilities. Whoa,
Oh god.
almost 11 million. Now, I found this interesting. We've talked about this before, and I can't get my mind around it. I haven't done a deep dive. This number is the same as the number they had last quarter. Maybe nothing's changed. Well, something changed because 2 quarters ago, we were in deficit stockholder equity, that number, 10.8 million. Now, all of a sudden, we're ahead 10.8 million. Now, I see we've got some other numbers here, but again, I don't understand it. So to me, it looks like we're in deficit. It looks like we are holding 10 million, 11 million in deficit on this company. Now, let's jump back to that news. This is the company that came out with the AI trader assistant called Maddie. Now, I don't know how it exactly worked in its beta version, and it may still be in beta, but it is growing fast. That is the whole point to AI. AI accumulates information and gobbles it up and grows like an amoeba. Just starts exponentially growing until it's superior. I mean, it's just an awesome, intelligent thing. Well, Maddie here is supposed to help us on trading. And they had news here, and I'm just going to dive into this because they basically say everything that you need to know. Maddie was originally conceived which means they're breaking away from what she was originally for. Originally conceived as a virtual trading assistant for users of the MetaTrader 5 trading platform, TD Ameritrade, I didn't know that, and Schwab. I'm at Schwab right now. Maddie has now evolved into a multifunctional virtual human equipped to complete a series of everyday tasks with unprecedented efficiency and convenience. You're talking about a person on screen that you can see, that you can hear, that if you were not told was not real, you would presume was a real person talking to you. That's how real these things are. The company is currently in beta testing its latest development project, a cutting-edge technology that enables Maddie to seamlessly navigate through various tasks. First, she was helping me trade. Now she's getting my food for me, including placing orders on Amazon.com, ordering food from Uber Eats and DoorDash, and even managing orders from local grocery stores. The premise behind expanding Maddie's capabilities is to constantly deliver incentives for users to engage with Maddie, thereby further developing her AI and machine learning capabilities. This is what they had to do with Alexa. When Alexa came out, they got in trouble for it, but they turned her listening aspect on everybody. And she was basically eavesdropping, but not for any deceptive reasons. She was just learning how people talk in different ways. And that's what they're doing here. They're just giving her more jobs to do so that she can learn more. Let's see here. Of all the retail partnerships one of the most compelling factors from a shareholder value standpoint is that all of the retail partnerships that use Maddie's technology will generate revenue for the company through order commissions and profit sharing. We are thrilled to announce that we have narrowed down, this is extra news, I wasn't aware of this, almost missed it. We have narrowed down our potential merger candidates to a second AI company. This high-performing company boasts an impressive track record, generating over $30 million in revenue with an outstanding net profit margin of 30%. However, that's their second, right? The potential quick completion of these 2 mergers will greatly benefit the projects like Maddie, solidifying our position as a key player in the AI sector. So they were telling us here about the second merger, which they believe is going to help Maddie. Maddie is now doing a whole bunch of other things, and they've got another AI company coming in, and we don't know what they do. What we do see is this company is becoming a full-fledged AI company. They started off in one sector, trading, which she's probably still doing. Now she's becoming everything else, and God knows how far they can take this. So I think this is a company to watch just from the point that AI is huge, and you just don't want to deal with a company that uses AI. You want to be with a company that is all about AI, developing AI products, and that's what this company looks like. So what was the relative volume around Toner's news today? What the bloody heck? On the pink. All right, I just want to refresh this and check what our volume was today on the OTC. We're down to 4 billion. I noticed, was it a week, 2 weeks ago? I saw 11 billion on the OTC blew my mind. I kept refreshing the page because I thought it was wrong. I haven't seen 11 billion in 2 years. I'm not lying, folks. It's been a long time since we've had that kind of volume. Today, we're back down to 4 billion. Our normal volume before COVID was 60 to 70 billion shares a day. We're down to 4 billion, and we've been here for a long time.
Wow.
Of that, they did 32 million today. So the shares, they're down there low, but we've had low volume, not just the OTC. From what I understand, Bloomberg did a coverage on it. The entire markets, all the markets were running for a while there less than 20% of normal volume. Man, that's coma. If your blood was like that, you'd be laid out on the bed. Coma. So we got low volume today, 32 million. Share structure for Toner. Goodness gracious. Lots of shares. 7 billion on the open market, 23 million or 7 billion, right? 23 million are owned by the insiders. Most of those 7 billion are on the open market as the float. Lots of shares. Got to worry about a reverse split. I don't think this company's made any promises. Always love to get that promise out there. Financials for Toner, we already looked. They got nothing. What about, oh boy, lots of them. Let's check this 8K real quick. Did I have anything else opened up there? I did not. Toner wants holding shareholder letter. AI companies to include a significant share buyback as an essential part of the final plan. Right, we did talk about this before. I do remember bringing this up. One of the companies is doing 120 million in revenue. We just saw the other one was doing 30 million in revenue. They give information here about that other company. And they did say that in either case, whether they merge with one, the other, or both, there was going to be a share buyback program that had to be done as part of the deal. So that's a win-win situation for us. I'm glad I checked that out. All right, I think that pretty much covers everything. Did we cover the yeah. All right, let's jump on over. I'm getting tangled up here, bouncing around. I'm so anal. I have a system, and when I get off that system, it's like a cat with a ball of yarn. Sooner or later, it's just knotted up. Go for it, hon. I'm ready for you.
Okay, so we've looked at this several times, and I'll go over this just a little bit for people that haven't seen it. So as you can see, it started out probably like at the beginning of last March. We were in this consolidation period between 0001 and 0003 for months and months and months, kind of like the other one we looked at, up until about the 1st of December, and we jumped up to this next little tier. It just barcoded, just like here.
Yep.
And we looked at it a couple times, and then we started to break out. And we ended up reaching above that 001 area, which is, I know, the one that you like. Yeah. So we got up there. We actually got all the way up to 0015, which is incredible. And that was on the 1st. So that was about 3 weeks ago. We looked at that. And if you check this out, it went all the way back down to these areas where it was consolidating the first time. So if someone had a buy order just open, or like a limit order for 0002, and you were able to snag
like an accidental order,
or you just had it open, like an open order for if it were to come down to that price. So that's pretty incredible. It did come all the way back down there. That was last Friday on the 16th. And then now we're back up to this range where it started to break out. So we're back up to like that 0009
area. If anybody had an open order down there, they made a bucket of cash on the way back up.
Exactly. And if I were to have one of those, I would have probably put it at the 0003. I wouldn't have had it down here. I mean, it reached 0001 that day, allegedly. Even on the regular candles, you can see what happened. It opened down here, supposedly, and then came up. I don't know if that was just a glitch or what happened, but someone got some orders filled down there, which is quite amazing. So now we're back up to this 0009 area. Let's see. Let's go down to the 4 hour. All right. So these arrows are just the days we looked at it. That's nothing really important. So you can see this came back down, but see it wicked down. Even on the 4 hour, it's just a wick. All right. So yeah, and this is on Heikin-Ashi. So yeah, we're knocking on the door of that 001 area. Now we're gonna have to get above that so we can get into this area again. It tried to break out the other day. That was yesterday, Wednesday. So I'd like to see it back up into this area. It's really trying to. I mean, it comes down
I
and
see the
it's bouncing.
potential. I see the potential. Again,
Mm-hmm.
she
Yep,
is
it's
set up
bouncing.
perfectly to either fall off the ledge or jump. She's right there.
It
And
comes
it
down and
does
it
look like
jumps.
her
Yeah.
toes are pressing down, like she's ready to pounce. That's what
Yeah.
I see. So it does actually, God, that's a beautiful price too, because when you get over that 001, you start to, it's second gear. If you can move out of the triple zeros and get into the double zeros, you've got a better likelihood of pushing towards that penny. So this
Yeah.
is looking very tempting right now. And Maddie is definitely evolving. You know, she was in a very tight niche sector. There aren't a lot of traders right now. So to market Maddie just for traders, now would not be the best time to do that. But we all like to order food from Uber or DoorDash. We all use Amazon. If we could find a way to make use of something like that and it really worked well, that could be a huge incentive. And the company needs to
Mhm.
start making some revenues. That's what we need to see. They're making mergers. We've got reasons to run, but revenues are what's going to be the bottom line here.
Yeah, it looks even better on the 1 hour. As you can see this. This was in pre-market hours when it had that dip, but it came right back up. That was just a pre-market dip. I'm not sure what happened, but it came right back, and now we're still above the 200 and the 50 on the 1 hour chart. So,
And being a pre-market stock, even
mm-hmm.
if we had a standing order, we can't buy pre-market or
Oh,
aftermarket.
because it's OTC. Yeah,
It's OTC.
this is
Yeah.
not a Nasdaq. I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's something we've always got to check. If it doesn't have an
yeah,
F
I
on the
I
end, you're not
sometimes
quite
forget.
sure.
Yeah. Well, so that's what happened. Digging deeper, we can see what happened there. So it did
Some
come back
marketer took
down.
advantage of it. I guarantee you that.
Oh yeah, sure, sure. But yeah, this has potential, like I've said over time. I mean, this day was just
That chart
magnificent.
does have potential. She's
Mhm,
showing that bounce. Right now is when you want to watch her. She's
yeah,
just tagged a strong SMA, and let's see what she does. Is she diving off the board?
looks
Yeah.
good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a big dip there and we had a big rip right
Uh-huh.
after it.
Yeah, it came all the way up to 0013,
Yeah.
and the recent high is that 0015, which we saw about 3 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
it's trying to get back up there. Once it gets above, seems like every time it gets above this 001, except for this time, I mean it does push up like it did this time. I think it has potential to come back up, bounce off of this, and come right
She's
back up.
getting a nice shiny red to the apple right now. She's looking
Yeah.
good.
All right.
All right, let's see. Not toner anymore. We over here at IVP. I wonder. I don't remember who brought this up, but whoever brought it up, I wonder if you brought this up last week.
Underdog. Underdog.
Underdog. Seems like I just got done looking at this or at least talking about it somewhere. In either case, this is IVP, Inspire Veterinary. Let me tell you what, I'm going to turn off my Discord because it beeps a lot. That's what you guys are probably hearing. There we go. All right. This is Inspire Veterinary Partners. This is, as it sounds, a veterinary clinic, and it is the small ones. It's not a big one for your cows and your horses. It's for your dogs and your cats, and they are here in the United States. So what sort of information? Well, before I leave, we are at about a dime, just under a dime, and she fell just about 10% today. And this is another penny stock on the major exchange, which means we've got to take in consideration, and I haven't looked yet. We'll look. Any stock on the major exchange under a dollar could be in hot water. I mean, they're already in hot water. You can't be under a dollar for too long. If you're under too long, they'll warn you. You got to get your price up, close over a dollar for 10 days straight. Then you're out of hot water. It's all good. But if you don't, you're out of here. They'll kick you off the major exchange down to the OTC. And nobody wants that. Not only is it expensive to get back up and a lot of work, but they lose their audience. As I said, the OTC does not get a lot of volume. The people trading on the major exchanges don't normally buy penny stocks down here. So they are real low right now. We'll have to look. I don't know if we'll have time at the 8Ks or 6Ks, depending, and see what's going on. So what did I find on this company? Well, a little bit of information. It's a unique veterinary. As I said, they are small, just for your household pets and stuff. But what's unique about this is that some of their clinics are owned by the corporation. Some are owned by call them their employees, if you will. They will sell the clinic to an employee, and they've got a system all in place for that. Right now, it appears, if their map is correct, they are in about a dozen places in the United States, from one coast to the other, from north to south. I don't think there was anything else here to look at. What did we have? They just opened up another one, probably isn't on the map yet, not the one we looked at, here in Texas. I don't know if this is a private ownership or corporate ownership. And of course, if it's a private ownership, because it's like a franchise, I'm sure the company is getting royalties of some sort. Right. I do remember now. I wanted to talk to you about this share offering. When we go over here looking at the share structure, it's real low. They say we've got 5 million shares outstanding. Ooh, that means our float isn't over 5 million. So it's a low float. Well, I was going through her financials, I discovered that they do have shares coming out. As you can see in the news, they do tell you that right here. They got a $4 million public offering. Back here, 7.87 million shares of common stock are being sold by a partner. But when you dive in, now that's like 3 million shares. So we're at 5 million. They're talking another 3 million. You're looking at 8 million shares, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's over 50%. 2.5 million is over 50%. So that's half of the shareholder value wiped out just from that public offering. Then here they tell us, above and beyond the initial 3 million, they do have planned to put $30 million worth of additional Class A common shares on the market. Folks, that's 300 million shares. You want to talk about dilution? You're now talking about 60 times. Your shareholder value has just been splitted by 60. And they say they are going to be doing this. Did they have a date? I can't see it here. Sometimes they'll give you a deadline when they have up till. I don't see a deadline here. January 19th, 2024 is when it started, blah, blah, November. I don't see the date, but there's a forewarning. Okay, so they are going to be flooding the market. That is going to give them a lot of money, and it's going to take all the shareholder value away from the stock. Right now, we're at 10 cents. If they did all that, you would be down to, I don't know. That would be something like 0.004 or something like that. It would really tear the price up. Let's see what we got here for relative volume around the company. Yeah, she's doing roughly the same. She's down, okay, about 1 million actually. She dropped from 10.5 down to 9.6 million. Share structure for the company we already looked at and talked about. Financials for the company. Well, they've definitely increased, right? They went from 2.5 million in 2021 to almost 4 times that much, almost 10 million. And they're getting to keep about 1/4 of that in profit, 2.5 million. Quarterlies, this NASDAQ stock does have them. The last 3 quarters this year, they've been doing just over 4 million, close to 4.5 million. And they're getting to take home over 1 million every quarter. So they're doing steady business. Money in the bank, they've got roughly 2 million. Total assets, they're worth about 21 million. And their liabilities is under that, 18.5. So we do have some stockholder equity in the company, 2.7 million. So we're not holding a bag. It's a positive deal here. Disclosures, right? That was where I found the information, this pre-14C. Normally they're real short. This one had a bunch of information in it. I had to actually work through it to get that. So that's what's going on here. The company is growing. They've got these little clinics around the country that they share with their employees. So half of them are corporately owned, some are employee owned, and they're making money off of all of them. And they are making money steady and regularly, just not a lot of huge catalysts going on right now, from what I can see. Let's take a look at the chart now for IVP.
Okay, just 1 second. All right. So this has not been around a while. It IPO'd on August 30th at $4, and now we're at less than 10 cents. So
Ow.
yeah,
Ow.
since August, that's what's happened. I was looking at another chart over here, and it's lost 97% or something of its value since IPO, and that's not good, obviously.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah, it IPO'd at $4 on August 30th, and now it has just been completely downhill. You can just see it right here. You know, we IPO'd up there, and we're way down here. It hasn't been around a while, so we don't even have a 200 on the daily. So we're down. We're way down here. I mean,
It
I
looks
mean,
like she might be finding a bottom, huh?
maybe this is the lowest it's ever been right now, currently.
Yeah, well,
Still,
every drop has been the lowest it's ever
yeah.
been.
So yeah, this might have been the bottom, but then it showed more. I mean,
Yeah.
every time we have a little bit of volume, though, it tries to spike up here. It tries to bounce. It tries to bounce. So, and now we're down here again. So, I mean,
But
this is just
again,
looking
each one of those
bearish.
big bounces does help press these SMAs. So we're looking for that 50-day to start leveling out. You really can't break out until it's flat. That's when you can
Yeah.
jump up on top of it. So like that huge bar right there through the 200, to me, that shows incentive. I want to run, but it's too steep for me to get up there now. But I'm showing you, I'm raising my hand. And once it gets low enough, I'm looking for the dog to run out of the kennel and be gone. Just out of here.
Yeah, that was less than a month ago, and it jumped up to pretty much $1 and then came right back down. Now we're at 9 cents. I mean, think about that. That's a lot. That's a
Yeah, it's a
big drop.
1,000% jump.
So every dollar you put in, if you got in at the tippy top, every dollar is worth now 9 cents. That is not good, my friend.
It was always looking at it from the drop point.
I have to. I mean, that's just what I'm looking at. So let's
That's what
look at the
makes
1
us a
hour.
good team.
I just have to
I'm,
tell it like I
I'm
see
looking
it.
at how much it can go up, and you're telling us if you got in, it's like, well, you know, you're right. You are right. You've got to look at both sides because
Yeah.
that's the danger about getting into a stock that's rocketing. Sooner or later, it's going to run out of fuel. And there's only one place to go when that happens. And it's down. And it doesn't mean it could just land on a cloud. It could come all the way back down to earth, which is what we're seeing a lot of here. So really, when you see a stock running, be very cautious about how much you put into it. Scale in. Buy a little at a time. I know you're paying more and more, but you're risking less and less. Trust me.
If you're going to get in something like this, you know, whatever money that you're going to put in, do not put the all of it. Like if you have, let's say $100, don't put in the whole $100. Put in maybe 20% of your buy. That way, if you make some, great. If not, you can still scale in. That's just my opinion, but I would not be touching this right now. We still have a little ways to go till its floor. Its floor looks like it was about 9 cents.
That's an ugly chart.
Yeah, it is. I'm just saying, like, you don't want to just jump in and be like, oh, well, it's going to go back up to 20. It could, but oh my gosh, I'm trying to find some kind of redeeming.
Don't put any frosting on a POS.
Well,
we don't need to do that.
Well, you got mad when I said if you put $1 in, you'd have
I was laughing at me because as soon as you were saying that, I was saying the opposite, and it's like, oh my God, this is perfect. That blue flame and that red flame hitting in the middle.
Yeah, it's not looking good, my friend.
No, it isn't. Right now is not a good time. She's had a serious fall. She's going sideways and still falling as she's going sideways.
Very
and all
serious
of the SMAs are on a downward decline.
Yeah, look at this 200. It is nose diving.
Yeah. So if you're looking for the bottom, just keep watching. She ain't there yet.
Not there yet. Maybe 8 cents.
But you got a point there. That 1 point. What does that look like? I was putting my arrow on that bottom wick you got right there. Where you
here?
What's that?
That's about 9 cents. That was a couple weeks ago, Friday.
And what's our price right now?
0.099 ish. That was about 0.0909.
Gotcha. So we're about a penny up.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Not looking too great. Yep.
Yeah, I'm expecting her to hit that. If she doesn't bounce off of that, egads, folks.
Right.
Egads. And
especially considering this IPO just in August at $4.
And we did not go through our dive through the filings looking to see if the NASDAQ had reached out to them. They could be on the ledge of being kicked off the OTC.
Yeah,
could be. And they don't have enough shares to do a reverse split. There
Right.
just isn't enough there. So they would have no choice but to
Mhm.
come down. I mean, they could. What was it? They had 5 million. Is that what we were looking at there? And if they did a reverse split, that would just get them over $1, which is not where you want to go. So it's looking a little precarious right now for the company. The chart's
Mhm.
bad. The price is down. They're on the NASDAQ, and they've been under $1 for a long time.
Yes, a very long time. Pretty much since a few days after their IPO, it just started tanking immediately. Mhm.
All right,
But it's
folks.
for that.
No frosting on this cake.
No, sorry. All bad.
It's all bad. All right, what time is it? Oh, 5 after 5. All right, we got Mott's here, folks. Mott's I just covered. If you want more information about this, I just put out a video, I think it was yesterday. This is Modus GI, finished today at 80 cents. Woo! Dropped hard. Now, understand, folks, when I put out a video, it doesn't mean it's going to run tomorrow. What's the point of putting it on your watch list if it's going to run tomorrow? We put them on our watch list because they could run in a short span of time, 1, 5, 7 days, somewhere in there. We're day traders watching for setups to get set up and break out. So she fell today. Ouch. Sorry. About 30%, 28.18%. She is a cold penny stock on the major exchange. She's on the NASDAQ. So what is this company about? All right, let me see if I can get my head around this. Oh, right. This is a company that works with medical devices. I should say device. I could only find one device they're working on, and I guess it goes with their name, Modus GI. They work with the GI tract. They've got this item called PureView system. They have just done their first upper GI with this device on a human. They just got positive results for their second generation PureView system for colonoscopy patients with a history of poor bowel preparation. And they got a patent for an anti-clogging system they've added to their PureView. Now, what it is, folks, in a nutshell, it is a cleaning agent which goes into your GI tract, upper or lower, your intestines, if you will. Cleans the upper of blood and blood clots when they're looking for ulcers. They got to make sure it's clean, be able to find the bleed, do their work. And then from the other end, you know that's dirty. They got to clean that bad boy out. And that's where they have their anti-clogging device. Every now and then a piece of fetus comes down there, can't fit through. So they have a anti-choke. It pushes it back up a little bit so it can come back down, and the doctor doesn't have to redo everything. So it saves the patient from going through an uncomfortable procedure again, saves time, saves money. It's supposed to be a big deal. That is what they do. So they had a new piece of news come out today. I guess maybe that's why we're asking to look at it. Exercise of warrants. Now, this is a good point to bring up. Exercising of warrants. Warrants are bought in advance. It's free money the company gets. You buy the warrants now, and they're coupons. Coupons you can use anytime, probably 5 years down the road. And they allow you the right to buy a share of the company stock at a guaranteed cheap price. Now, let's say they say, okay, once the stock hits $1, your warrants are good. You can start buying them for $1.25. And you say, it's $1. Why would I use them at $1.25? Well, you won't. That's just when they're active, because it could bounce. It could go to $2 and you may want to use them then. Well, they're good for 5 years. So 3 years down the road, this stock could be at $28. And you can buy a share for $1.50 or $1.25, right? You give them $1.25 in one warrant, you get all that extra money as profit. That's why people like warrants. Well, every time a warrant is cashed in, a new share is given life. That's when they get birthed. So you got $2.7 million worth of warrants here. How many shares is that? That is just about 3 million shares. Now, this is why it's important, folks. Look at our float. Look at our outstanding share count. That is a legitimate 578,000 shares on a NASDAQ penny stock. They did a reverse split, a 1 in 15 reverse split back in November. This is where they ended up. And the price is back under $1 again. It's not looking good, and they can't do another one. Well, here's the problem. We know right now at this very moment, we have a super duper micro float. It is under 500,000. So if you're trading this stock and they sell 10 million today, every single stock had to sell 20 times today. Well, you know, some people are hanging on to their shares. So there may only be 300,000 shares cycling for everybody. That's like a short squeeze, supply and demand. That's when you can get a rocket on the stock. That is when it can happen. Well, they've got a problem because you got to have at least 1 million shares in the float. So we know absolutely for sure they've got to do a public offering. Now, I jumped into their financial. They don't tell us how many authorized shares they have. They got 115 million. They've got to put some on the market. We know it's going to come. Right now, they've got another 3 million. That's going to come from the warrants. So we'll be at roughly 3.5, 4 million, somewhere around there. And then behind that, whatever they want to put. But that's the situation here. So it isn't a bad thing that these warrants are being cashed in and we're getting more shares. We need them, actually, if you don't want this stock to fall off the major exchange and go down to the OTC. Anytime you fall out of compliance, if you don't fix it, you're out of here. So this could get them kicked off. So we're going to see public offerings, and the warrants is a good thing. What was the relative volume around MOTS today? Ooh, she jumped from about 900,000 shares to 2.7 million. That's about 3 times their normal volume, 300% increase. Already looked at that. Financials for the company, they're bringing in revenues, but they're not making any money. They're losing money every single year. And on the quarterlies, again, they're bringing in revenues. Sometimes they're making money, not much. Sometimes they're losing money, a lot. Balance for the company in the bank, got some money. We got about 6 million. Total assets about 8.5. Total liabilities is more, about 11 million. So we are holding a bag here, a deficit of 2.5 million. I don't think there was anything over here under disclosures, was there? 8K. Bet you this goes to the news. Material definitive agreement, warrants. That's got to do with the warrants. I don't think there was anything else here. Oh, yeah, we got one from yesterday. What's this one about? United States patent. That's when they got their patent for the anti-clogging thing. Doctors are real happy about that. They don't want to have to get back in there again. And then we've got SC13G here. I think I may have overlooked this the other day. That's a 10% new investor. Armitage Capital just bought themselves 10% of the company. They are a new owner. So looks like the stock is taking a big tumble today. I guess people were bummed out about the warrants. You know, you look at the float and you say, well, you got 500,000. You're adding 300 million. Oh my God, you just did like a 1 in 6 reverse split. You took all that shareholder value. Well, we have to fix it, folks. There aren't enough shares on the market. That's all there is to that. So whether they do a public offering or they do warrants, it doesn't matter to us. They've got to fix it or they're going to disappear. All right, let's take a look at that chart now. MOTS.
Okay, I just wanted to point out one thing real quick. It's the daily chart that we also had less than 2 years ago, 120 reverse split. So the 120 and then the 115. So when you look at this chart, if you were to blow it up, the top price is going to look like it was over $2,000. That is not accurate at all.
Right. I did point that out the other day. I think on a 6 month, it was like at $14.56, which comes out to 80 cents when you undo the adjustment to the chart.
Right. Yeah. So don't even pay attention to that. But here's where we are now. These are regular candles because I just wanted to point out what happened here. Okay. I don't know what the news was. I was sorry, not paying attention, but it did gap up to 160, 169, and then closed at $1.11, and then today just completely tanked, like our friend here said. It tanked today.
The patent news came out yesterday.
Huh?
The patent news came out yesterday about the anti-clogging agent for giving you a clean colon.
Okay, well that was what caused this to jump up here, but it came right back down. That was very short-lived. So we're down here in this consolidation area between like 57 and 70 cents. So it was just kind of here for, the last month or so. Yep. And now
it actually doesn't look bad. I mean, she made the move. She broke through her SMAs and she had a strong landing above where she started.
Yeah.
Which is really the best you can hope for in a worst case scenario.
That was I mean, it jumped up, but it came right back down. I don't really see this. I mean, unless there's another piece of news to push this back up. Because if you come down here, so this is the 1 hour. Let me see. This might make it a little easier. Yeah, there we go. This is a better illustration. So this is the Heikinashi's on the 1 hour. So this is after hours. This is pre-market. So it jumped up a lot pre-market yesterday. And then this is what happened all day yesterday. After hours, pre-market today, after hours.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of penny stocks that are ripping and then falling right back down to the 200,
Yeah.
consolidating, and then taking off again. And
Yeah,
this
it
looks
could.
par for the course right there. This looks like
Mhm.
so many charts right now.
It does. It could bounce off of this. You can see how flat this is now. So we could
Yeah,
bounce off of this like it did here. But this was in a, after hours trading or
yeah, I'm
pre-market
not
trading.
saying it looks good. We've got all the SMAs on top of the price. She is in a downtrend, but it is on the short-term chart.
Yeah, this
We're
is the
not
1 hour, so 15 minute, not that great.
no, not that great.
And this is the breakout, and it's just
Yeah, yeah.
don't love
Yeah,
it, but
she is tending to fall right now. Um, the patent was good. I like patents because this guarantees you no one's going to hone in on your business, but you've got to get business. You've got to
mhm,
get people buying your devices. And that's the one nice thing about medical companies selling devices. They're selling to hospitals and doctors, people that got money. And if they buy one, they buy a dozen because they need a bunch of them for the hospital normally. So it can be a hot product. So everything looks good here. We just need to see some contracts start coming in and see the revenue start kicking up. The chart right now, let's say we're looking for a buying opportunity after that rip. We're looking at the dip somewhere around here. She should bounce and hopefully not come below that 57, 70 cents mark, somewhere around
right,
there. That seems to
yeah,
be a buy zone.
like 60 cents, give or take. I mean, it was like there for a long time. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it could absolutely come back down there. I mean, we've got lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And
All right, let's move on to the
uh,
next one. I see we're at
uh-huh.
517. I'm going to cover two more stocks, folks, here. I've got GMGI that we're going to cover. That was like the last one I could fit on before the show started. Honestly, folks, if you brought in tickers while the show's been going on, my sincere apologies. I'm not going to be able to get to any of them simply because I do put up a placeholder for this video before lunch. And people put in their tickers before the show starts. And I do run on a first come, first serve basis instead of picking which ones I want to look at. So those all pretty much covered everything we're going to have time for. I squeezed one in that came from Twitter. At the end of the day, it came from T. Rick. I'm going to try to get to your U car. So let's take a look at GMGI. This is Golden Matrix Group. I covered this company a few years ago. GMGI and two other gambling companies. And back then, none of them were making any revenues. They were all just getting going. Now they're making revenues. They've got their licenses. They're doing things. Golden Matrix finished today just under $3, $2.92, and she was up just under 1% today. Another penny stock on the major exchange, the NASDAQ. All right, so we've got some news down here that I wanted to poke in at. First off, Golden Matrix reports record revenues of $44.2 million. Like I said, when I covered the company, they weren't making any money. So this is good. This is like weird for me to see this now. They're up to $44 million. Then this Golden Matrix files definitive proxy statement. What a boring headline. You know how easy it is to go buy something like that when you're just glancing, doing your due diligence? But I have learned a lot of boring statements have big news behind them. So I was kind of glad I poked my head into this one. It's right at the top. The company will hold a special meeting for the shareholders on March 19th of this year to vote on the approval of the acquisition of Meridian Bet Group. We got an acquisition here. Now, I tried to get some information about this company. There was nothing here, and I didn't have time to do a deep dive on Google, so I have no idea about this company. But they have got a deal in the lurches right now, and that news came out on the 6th. Was there any other news over there to take heed on? Stock Talk, that was a couple days ago. They did a talk on Twitter. Maybe they got that recorded. That may be something you want to check into there. Yeah, okay. I see a lawsuit here against Golden Matrix. You know, by the former Attorney General of Louisiana investigates Golden. An alert. You may want to look at this. I have not dove into it. A lot of companies have lawsuits just by investors who are begruntled because they feel that the management lied to them about something. They read something in a press release that they thought said this, but really was saying that. And a lot of those cases you never ever hear about. They just disappear. And normally, to even be a part of the class action lawsuit, you have to have lost $100,000. Who the hell's investing $100,000 in a penny stock or a sub penny stock? Really? I mean, come on. It goes from 4 cents to 3 cents. You just lost $25,000. Nobody's doing that, I assure you. Nobody's doing that. So I don't see any other news here to actually set the chart on fire. Let's see what we've got for the relative volume. What's that down there? Short interest. I normally don't get this stuff down here. Must be a lot of short interest going on here. And I'll tell you, folks, I get a lot of questions about short interest. It's not my forte. Most companies are being shorted. Where to find legitimate information I can trust for how many shares have been borrowed, what's left, how much interest there is shorted, I don't know. Are they covering the naked shorts too? Are they being included in there? A short squeeze? Come on. Can anybody really predict a short squeeze? Everybody talks about them, but predicting them is like predicting a tsunami, a tidal wave. Good luck. So I really don't pay much attention to short squeezes just because of that fact right there. Oops. So what are we doing? Volume? Oh my God. What the blazes? And this is on the NASDAQ. She's already under the radar on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ gets 10, 20, 40 times as much volume as the OTC. And this went from 67,000 shares, that's under the radar, down to 4,500 shares today. I mean, come on, that could be one purchase. Share structure for the company, that's not bad if these numbers are correct. We got about 36 million outstanding. Insiders own about 1/3 of it, 13, 14 million. Actually, that's half. How does that figure out to be half? If that's 14 and that's 14, that's 28. The two of these should add up to that. That ain't right, is it? No, that ain't right. So again, that's why I always say if these numbers are correct. But look, all right, unrestricted shares are from 2022. So the only number that is possibly right here is the outstanding share count of 36 million. I have no idea about the rest. Our float won't be any higher than 36 million and could be less. Market cap for the company, pretty decent, 105 million for a penny stock, that is. Financials for GMGI, they said they did $42 million in their last quarter. Wow. Was it the last quarter or the last year? Had to be the last year because the full year they did 44 million. I doubt they did 42 million in one quarter, but maybe I'm wrong. Nah, they've been doing from 9 to 10 to 11. They've been growing. Every single quarter is growing, as are their profits. And you got to imagine that this sort of business, the profits are pretty good because it is a digital marketing business. The company deals with gambling online with lots of different companies. They sell like white goods. They package up all these different gambling games, and then they sell the whole package to a gambling company who puts their own logos and names on it and then puts it online. So you could see the exact same games in different casinos online if you're in a place where you can gamble online legally. I can in Michigan, but because I live 3 miles away from Indiana, which is not a legal gambling state, I can't gamble. Right? No, not because I live too close, but because their stupid system thinks I'm in Indiana. Their GPS sees me as Indiana, so I can't gamble even though I'm in Michigan. It stinks. Oh, I can go to a casino. I'm just talking about online. Let's see what we have for a balance sheet for this company. Have we looked at this? No, we haven't. 17 million in the bank. That's good. Total assets, 35 million. Oh, look at that. Liabilities are low, right? Because they don't have a whole lot of liability with a digital product. And stockholder equity is up there at 31 million. See what we have over here in disclosures. Got a bunch of Form 4s here. Form 4s are filed whenever the insiders acquire or dispose of shares, and they can do it in a lot of ways. And there's a different code for every way you can do it. We're interested in a P. Did you purchase them? And we're interested in an S. Did you sell them? Any other thing, I'm really not that interested in. That's not a purchase or a sale. That's an M. They acquired them, but I don't know how, and I'm really not worried about it. And if I remember correctly, I think that's the case with all of these. Yeah, whatever it is. And normally you can look right down here. It'll tell you represents the vesting of 25,000 restricted stocks upon the issuers meeting certain revenue and EBITDA targets. Sounds like a bonus. Sounds like they were getting something for actually meeting a target, a milestone. I do believe that covers everything over here. I didn't see anything else there that really needed to be covered. We got an 8K, but I think that's the news that we were just looking at. Yeah, the proxy, the merger deal that they are involved with. So that's really what you need to do. Some more due diligence on the company. See what that is all about. All right, let's take a look at the chart for GMGI. I haven't seen this chart in a long time.
Okay. So I just kind of glanced at the daily chart. I just identified a few little areas. This is between $2 and $2.15. Every time we've hit this, we've broken out. Here, 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 and then here. All right. So then I identified these tops. This is between about 360 and 380. We've had that a few times, handful of times, but we're in this middle area where we had a lot of consolidation in September, August, September. We're in that area again. So kind of wondering where we're going to go from here. If we're going to jump back up into this area, if we're going to come back down and hit this area. So I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, nobody.
Well, your SMAs are definitely the opposite there. The last time she was going sideways, all the SMAs were coming down. Now the SMAs were coming up. So we do
So yeah, because we've had this higher high, higher high, higher high. That was this is within the next. Yeah, this was within the last month. So this is the 1 hour chart. You can see higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high, and we just missed this. It came up a little bit, but moves. So we're kind of in this area right now. We're right in between.
It looks right. I mean, that 50 was getting a long ways away from the 200. So you almost had to expect a snap back to the 200. And because she's not out of range, she's just adjusting because she got too far away. I would be watching for a bounce back, and she did bounce back. There's no doubt about that. And you've got a good zone there that now is a good time to watch for a climb.
Yeah.
You could get to that next zone you got above that.
Yeah, I like these zones here. This is probably between like $2.80 and $3, give or take. So we're in this area now. That could go either way. So like this in this area where it was consolidating for a while, it was pretty much right where I marked it, pretty tight here, and it dropped back down, and it kept dropping till we hit that lower area and then bounced right back up, blew through it, and now we're kind of in that area again. It could consolidate for a while, or we could see it jump back up. I would like to see it come back up. This chart is really nice. These higher highs are really nice. I feel like you said, it kind of adjusted itself and maybe it went up a little too fast. But let's drop it down to the 15-minute. Now, this is what we're looking at now. Let me make sure. Yeah. All right. So
how about that 30-minute? I get a feeling the 30-minute will give us a support.
Yeah.
There we go.
200.
Boy, it's common, right? We're seeing these same sort of setups, nice climb, big drops, and then back up onto the strong supports.
Yeah, this could absolutely be a support, and we could absolutely see this right here. But if we lose, especially this area, which is right in the middle of that 200 on the 30-minute chart, we could come back down here. But every time it comes back down to this area, it violently bounces back up.
So that would be the good buy zone all the way back down there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
But that's a long drop.
Yeah, it's quite a drop. But every time it does hit it, it violently bounces back up. See it here, and you can see it here. So I like this chart. I'm going to keep an eye on this one. I like it.
There you go. When Taylor's watching the chart, it's something where
I like this one. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I like it. All right. Since we're running out of time, I'll go ahead and bring it back
Yeah,
to
I've only
you.
got the one stock left. Looks like we're going to
No
break
problem.
a record today. I see we've got lots of comments that have come in. Roy, you brought us LEU again. Dude, that's like a $40
Check your screen,
stock.
John. Check your
Oh,
screen.
am I hurting everybody? That's what you get, Roy, bringing us $40 stocks. You make us crazy here, dude. Yeah. That was the only way I could see the comments. I got to look at my other chart now. I appreciate you folks coming in. And Mark Ryan, I don't know what happened, dude. I see you said that you requested a different stock. You were making a comment about MOTS. Yeah, we got a little bit confused there. Sorry, dude. We're just going to have to move on because now I am in a time crunch. So, last stock we're taking a look at is UCAR. Let me get it up. There we go. UCAR is UPower Limited. This is a penny stock on the NASDAQ, and oh my God, she's down there at 6 cents. So we've got the same dilemma here. We've got to worry about her price, worry about the NASDAQ telling them to get their price up over $1. So we're going to have to go through, not us now, unless it's like one of the first few. You never know which one it could be. And I guarantee if they've been under $1 for more than 30 days, chances are they've been warned by the NASDAQ. So we're down here at 6.5 cents. We dropped today about 11%. UPower. This company is another Chinese company that works over in China. And this news, I think, is hot. I think this is big news. Now, we got to be leery about Chinese companies, not only because of the tensions between America and China, but because of China's own internal problems. Anything could happen at any point in time, and boink, this stock would just be gone, and your money would be gone with it. That's all there is to that. So there is that to consider. With that being said, China is a big nation. They got a lot of people over there. They do big business. China is going to be, believe it or not, the first country in the world to go all EV by 2025, folks. You got nations up to 2050. I think America's 2035. I can't remember, but China's the first country. They have got over 200 electric EV buses, 200,000 EV buses with over 70 kilos of lithium needed for every single battery, and it needs multiple batteries. They are doing everything they can over there. Well, this is something we're not doing here, and they're doing over there. UPower Limited, no, not that. We'll talk about that. They are working with battery swaps. Did I bring up a piece of news here for this? Yeah, and it broke it away. They are working with battery swapping. They're leasing this. Instead of having to pull up and plug your battery in and charge it, you pull up, they pull out your old battery and put in a new battery, like you do with gas, for your burner, your grill. You don't buy a new tank. You just take in your empty tank and you get a full tank back. Someone else's tank, but you're just buying the gas. You're leasing the tank. Well, that's all you're doing is leasing batteries, and they charge them for you. So you pay them monthly, pull in, you use your phone to set up the appointment as you're coming in, and they do 2-wheelers and 4-wheelers. They've already got 4 installations set up over there in Shanghai, and they are getting ready to set up another 200 in 3 other cities over there. And this is how they're working it out over there. No plugging in and charging. And primarily, initially, this is all being focused on the food catering and delivery business. That's what they're primarily focusing in on right now. So what was the relative volume around UCAR today? She's up a little bit. Thank God, everybody's been falling. She went from 38 million to 45 million. Share structure for UCAR. Can we believe it? I don't know anything about this page anymore. It's a nice round number. It's kind of always curious to me. 50 million shares on the money. Have no clue what the float is. It could be 50 million. Nobody says the insiders have to own a single share of their company. They don't have to, but they could own a lot. So we could have a smaller float than 50 million. Market cap right now, 3.7 million. That's pretty good. Let's see what we have over here in financials. Are they making money? Yeah, they're making money. Not much, about 1.1, 1.2 million over the last 2 years. This NASDAQ company has no financials on the quarterly. How's their balance sheet looking? Not much money in the bank, less than $1 million. Total assets isn't bad. That's about 40.5 million. Liabilities is down. Well, when you don't have to pay for the batteries, all you're doing is charging them, taking them out of vehicles and sending them back out. That keeps everything cheap. We have positive stockholder equity of 23, call it 24 million in this company. Disclosures for UCAR. We got a 6K that came out yesterday. This has probably got to do with the news. Limited Liability Corporation share exchange issued and allotted. There's a share exchange going on here. These filings with China can be very long. They have to put in a lot of disclaimers, if you will. The company disclaims things from China for themselves, so I'm real not sure what's going on here, folks. I'd have to dive into that a little bit more. Ooh, good news. Got ourselves an SC13G. A new owner came into the picture. Lee has got himself, almost 20% of the company. You can't overlook those folks. It looks like dry information, but that's a lot of money somebody just dropped on this company. You know bloody well they did their due diligence before they did it. They bought in for a reason. Then we got another 6K here on the 8th. UPower announces appointment of a new independent director. You have to have independent directors if you're going to uplist. Also, independent directors have no connection to the company. They have no investment in the company. They have no real position in the company. They're independent, which means they're unbiased. They can actually let the company know advice from an unbiased point of view. If there's internal problems, your independent directors can cool those problems off. Independent directors are pretty important, actually. So even though it doesn't look like important news, independent directors are important. And it's always neat to see what sort of experience they bring to the table. Independent directors could be billionaires. They could own their own companies, honestly, and they can bring all this free advice to the company and help them to grow. So it's always worth your due diligence to see who that new independent director or any new management personnel is. Let's see, what have I not covered here? Did we cover the volume? I need someone to say here. Yeah, we did. Did we cover disclosures? Yeah, we did. I think all we need to cover now is the chart. That's on you, Taylor. Last but not least.
Okay, well, I'm just going to show this real quick. This is just the overview of the daily chart. Yeah. So it
Wow.
hasn't been around that long. That's why the 200 is really tiny on the daily chart. So we had this big gap from like 150, give or take, down to $1. And we have not even been close to filling that. So let me move over to the 4-hour. So this is more recent. So this is what's been happening more recently. So this is last week or a couple weeks ago, the 7th. So we've had some spikes here, but as you can see, since Tuesday, it's just been falling off, completely falling off.
That's a shame too, because she was
Yeah,
just getting that 50-day flat. I mean, it was
yeah,
looking good for a breakout, but this says rejection. I'm not
yeah,
looking to run.
completely rejected. So I checked a couple of sources, and the all-time low looks like it's 0.0624. Right now we're at 0.657. So we're very close to the all-time low of this stock. And I
Now
checked,
that's
and
what I'd be looking for. I'd be looking for it to hit the old time low.
yeah,
And that would actually be a buy point for me. And I think personally, it's wrestling with the 50, only biding time for that 200, which is way too steep right now.
way up
That's got to
there.
start leveling out. But it
Yeah,
won't level out unless the price bounces a lot. We got to get some
yeah.
big bounces in there. So it may be setting up for a big bounce off of that all-time low of 0.64.
0.624. Right now we're at 0.657. We're very
Okay,
close.
good.
Fraction of a
All
cent. And I mean, this has just been completely falling. There hasn't been any stock splits. I looked at that. There hasn't been. I think it's 52-week high was $75, and that was accurate. So
I
if that
suppose
gives you some perspective.
our shorter frame charts aren't going to look a lot any better, really.
Let's look at
Looks
the
like she's been
15-minute.
falling for days.
Yeah, look at this
Oh,
15-minute.
oh,
It's
that's
ugly.
ugly.
Lower high, lower high, lower high.
I think we said ugly at the same time.
Yeah,
You,
it is.
you and ugly. Ooh, you ugly.
This is
Yeah,
as
that's not
oogly as it
true at
gets.
all.
Yeah, I'd be looking for it to hit down here and then maybe come back up, but I wouldn't be buying this right now. I mean, unless there's a catalyst coming up, but I mean, that's just a bet at that
Well,
point.
I do think that the market is ripe for what they're doing because China has to have this done by 2025. And here it is, 2024. So they've got to get this stuff set up now. When it hits a low, you're going to have shoppers. Shoppers are going to see that 52-week low, 3-year low, whatever it is, and they're going to go see if there's any value in this company. If there is value, that is a flashing for sale sign, and they're going to start buying in. Now, it may just be accumulation. You may see a flat bottom, or it could be a rip. In either case, in my opinion, I can't speak for Taylor. In my opinion, I would be putting UCAR on my watch list because of the timing of their own internal regulations over there. We could see a nice jump in this stock.
Yeah, that could be that's a catalyst. So, I mean, the chart doesn't look like it, but if there is a catalyst, I'd be looking for it to bounce off of this.
Yeah.
And maybe we can see something. But it's dropped about 30% within the last couple of days.
Yeah,
So
she's
keep that
ugly.
in mind.
I'm not saying she's looking good. She needs
Yeah.
to go put some makeup on because I ain't kissing that today.
Yeah. So that's it for that one.
That is it, folks. We can bring up both of our pretty faces now.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay, one of our pretty faces.
Hey, my face is on there.
Thank you, folks. Looks like we set a new record today. God, I say these are an hour long. We're at an hour and 41 minutes. Did you make it through the entire show? I hope so. If not, it's recorded. If you just poked your head in, I appreciate you poking your head in. I see a lot of you came in after the show got started. Thebes 1, is that right? I always get your name wrong. I wanted to call you the best when we first met. Remember that? Papa Pow, any really at $83 a couple years ago. Papa Pow, check and see if any, ticker ANY, did a reverse split. If they did a reverse split anytime here in the near past, that history has all been changed. Chances are it was never 83. If they did a 1 in 20 reverse split, divide that 83 by 20. That's what the high really was. So just in case you wanted to know that. Permabull Moon Man, never seen you here before. Glad to have you. RYCEY, isn't that Rolls Royce? I think that's Rolls Royce, and we've talked about Rolls Royce a long time ago. They make these huge engines for airplanes, and their biggest customer is in China, and they do make one of the biggest engines in the world for China. So this is a company I've always liked. They are undervalued as far as I'm concerned. 22, glad to see you here. You're darn right. Hit that like button. UMFs haven't hit the like button. Support people. Woo! Get out there, dog. I appreciate that. Deep facts. Love you guys. What was that? I saw a butt, but you spend too much time on terrible stocks. Well, look, it's not us bringing the stocks in. You guys are bringing the stocks. You know, I share hot stocks with you all week. At least I think they're hot, in my opinion. And maybe you think these stocks are hot in your opinion. Though I know there is a percentage of you out there who bring me stocks that you've been holding that have been falling, and you think the wizard here is going to share some light at the end of the tunnel for you. Well, I bet you know more about that stock than I do, more than Taylor does. And if you haven't seen any light at the end of the tunnel, we're not going to make it up. Taylor doesn't like to say anything negative, but she's not going to lie to you.
Oh, I did on that one stock. Like if you invested $1, you'd have 9 cents.
Right, but that's reality.
Yeah.
She's my reality check because I've been told before I am a bull. I see the market is climbing. I'm looking for the good. We need someone like her to bring us into reality and say, but it could do this, it could go there. Absolutely. So all of you people bringing in your stocks, I appreciate them, but you can't blame me for any of the stocks I look at. Will you be covering Sphere 3D this weekend? I don't think so. I think this weekend I have an interview, folks. A brand new company just came on the market, and they are involved in a merger right now, I believe it is. And he wants to share it with me so I can share it with you. So I think I'm doing that this weekend. William Broderick, hello. He is risen. You are absolutely welcome. Sarah Gibson, good to see you here. Bitcoin miner is going to make a big run in 2024. Hey, they've already been running. They may have taken a break here, but yeah, for a while there, all the Bitcoin miners were making good money. Definitely. I love all of your comments, folks here. Donkey, who was that? Donkey Donks. You people got some unique usernames, I tell you that. Billy Mafia, Bill's Mafia. Thank you, folks. I've had enough of your time today. I'm not tired of you. You're just probably tired of me. So I'm going to come back here next week and I'm going to bring Taylor with me as long as she isn't on another vacation. Good golly, girl, you must be tanned to the hilt by now because you don't go anywhere cold. Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see you next week, folks. Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, I got to push the button. Now I do it.